What's going on, everybody? This is Super Robot Ed, and today, you see it, we have in front of you the Transformers Studio Series. Studio Series 86 are technically just now Transformers the movie, Constructicon Hook, and Constructicon Long Haul. Now, we get Hook and Long Haul, which are pretty much Voyager-ish size. They're a little bigger than Scrapper and Bone Crusher, due to what they do, because basically one's going to be like the chest, the other one's going to be sort of like the abdomen, and then the rest of the parts that are on the end of Long Haul are going to be the waist and the thigh pieces. So, Commander class, definitely. Yeah, I'm glad they did it for these parts, because these are probably integral parts. Now, I know when I did my last Constructicon video, I was a little disappointed. And rightfully so. However, I will admit, for Long Haul and Hook, I like what they did. Because we will be doing some comparisons and, of course, going through the video. So, yeah, I definitely am glad that they did that. The plastic quality is that of the usual Commander class figures. So if you do get these, you will not be disappointed. They are beefy, but they're easy to handle. And that's one of the things that I will admit has really drawn me back to the Constructicons. Now, I don't know if it's just these two, but these two maybe do a face turn. Because prior to that, Brother Man was on the heel turn. Shots out the sky. Out on that. This time around, no, full face turn on this one, man. I enjoy these. Yes, there's some issues. Yes, are there some debilitating issues? Definitely. But at this point, all of them are going to be pretty much the same. No waist articulation. So, across the board, all six, they're not going to have that. I don't, like I said, the only story I'm not going to buy is that, because the engineer, we can't do this and that. That's not my problem. That's a you problem. Make that happen, Hasbro, not me. I'm paying you. I don't need you to make any excuses if I'm buying from you. However, for these two, I like these two. I really do like these two. I was displaying with these two, and the thing that I like about them, they're very easy to handle. When I say that, when we compare these to Make Toys, you'll know what I mean. Make Toys, you got to, okay, let's go here, let's go there. If you don't put that there, something might break or snap, and the plastic is, we're talking about 13, 14 years old. Now, I don't know if they'll come with the other two that are remaining, but the instruction booklet is pretty big, so very similar to how they did the Legacy Menasor / Motormaster, where you can actually put all 6 Constructicons in that box. Yes, you can, and they store well. It might be a similar thing here. So keep this box in your instructions, especially if you're looking for future sales. But here's the front of the box, because I know some of y'all love instructions. It is what it is, and I understand. Not going to argue with anyone on that. Here's the front of the box. You see the obligatory shots of Long Haul and Hook here with some pew, 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 pew stuff going on in the background. Of course, you see on the side here, Hook and Long Haul racing off. And before we get to the other side, here is Devastator. And, these is now 3 of 5. So we know we got, which is backwards. It should be 3 of 6. But again, there's an error here on the side of the box. And if you look here on the back of the box, you see the new kind of style that they're doing with Commander class. And of course, they're going to give us the little picture of him picking up Sludge on the back as Slag comes in and gets that little lick before he gets back up and stuff starts falling all over the place. But you can see everything here on the back. 17 steps to transform Hook, 19 steps to transform Long Haul. So now we're done with that. We're going to pause for the cause, and just so I can piss off this one YouTuber that said I shouldn't be doing this, we're going to be back in 2. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic, and we have both Hook and Long Haul in their vehicle modes. So let's get to it. We're going to do measurements first. And of course, we'll do the measurements in vehicle mode. He is about, with the Hook, 5 inches long without it being extended. So let's see what happens when you extend it. That's what she said. Okay, this is about as far as it can go. You a little wimpy there, man. Boy, your counterpart gonna take your girl. Anyway, he about 6 inches when he extend. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and put him back there. And yes, the Hook does go up now. It does rotate right here. And there's a little hook gun right there. We'll see that later on in the video. And of course, it just turns like that. Doesn't really turn the whole mechanism. And then after that, we'll go ahead and put him to the side. Then we'll bring out this super dump truck here. So what do we have? We have long haul, but he is hooked to this, I don't know what this is, but I guess it's something. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it does look like something. And, you know, it looks like something that you just have something for, because I don't really know what it's for. But anyway, that's what we're gonna talk about today. This is something. But let's get measurements in. Now, he is with his caboose carrying thing, whatever this is. He's about almost 9.5 inches long. All right. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and take this apart. And it just kind of folds in, like pegs in right there. Now we take this apart. We got this mechanism full of parts here, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And of course, that part is only 4 inches long. And then let's measure the actual long haul dump truck. There is this weapon right there. And that is also almost about 5 inches long. Yeah, it's about 5 inches long. All right, so we didn't lose the weapon. I had to keep it in my hand. We're going to take this part right here and put it away for a second. Now, when we do that, we're going to bring in some comparison vehicles. And yes, we are in comparison mode. And we're going to bring in the Make Toys Not Hook and Not Long Haul. And let's start here. We're going to put them to the side there for a second. Yeah, one of my favorite. It's still one of my favorite toys, man. I know some of y'all going to get mad at me feelings. And some of y'all going to be like, yeah, I've been waiting to see this because it's third-party stuff. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to be putting stuff back on real quick. SS86 or, you know, Stereo Series hook. And this is the Make Toys hook. Now, I'll explain a few things about the Make Toys version. The Make Toys version kind of borrows some of the molding and elements of that of, I think, he was like a blue crane in Cybertron. I forgot his name. He's very similar in the look to him. Now, what's interesting is that, you know, he is primarily clean. As you can see there, we can see the undersides of the robots here. And there's a difference in how things cover up. But he is a lot more slender than he is. He's a lot wider than he is. As far as look, I had to make modifications to him because, again, I thought we would never get another Devastator that was, you know, size of standard, not the oversized. What we got is basically it's too big. But like I said, underneath, he is a lot cleaner. You know what I'm saying? And this is from 2012. Now, here's where things get kind of sad because homeboy, he got a hook, boy. And when I say the boy, look here, man, he ain't playing. He like, look, you in trouble. And when you have him in the robot mode, if the hook is too long, because it's actually supposed to form a weapon as well, which I ain't honestly never was able to figure out to do, and I never did it. You know, it hangs down the back like that. But yeah, he can get a serious range. And yes, it does come off. And it does come off at a platform right here. So that's just something, you know, if you want to see that and get a better understanding. But everything fits. Now, the Devastator head, of course, is in the middle of the bot, which is usually standard for a hook. But on him, it's actually the leg. And I would have to go back and get the box to get the alternate head that actually looks like a foot. But we're not going to get that one today. Y'all are going to get stuck with this head. All right. Now, the head for Hook is right there. But he is painted black because this was green and the face was like a weird color. So I painted the face silver with red eyes. I gave him a black head and I'm not going to change that. So that's the comparison between the two hooks. If you ask me, I like this better. That's just a toy thing. Now we're going to show off the dump trucks. Now without all the kibble and all that stuff, here you go. Now, of course, this here are the two dump trucks here. And this dump truck has elements of that of Demolisher. It's very Demolisher-like. A lot of what you see in the Make Toys is heavily borrowed from a lot of the older like Transformer designs from like the Unicron trilogy and from RID. This is something you need to know. Now, as compared to the, of course, Studio Series 86, he doesn't really have much inside to put in him to be a dump truck. And that's the same thing for Make Toys too. He's got these things and these piston-like looking things on him. Of course, Long Haul here has the traditional truck mode, and of course, all of the amenities of the original from the side, and you could see the robot head under there. Whereas with him, a lot of things are covered up. Third party's MO is at least to try to give you a semblance of a lot of things being hidden. But you can see that there. But hey, Hasbro did a very good job with him as well. I tell you, there's a lot that they did with him that I kind of like. And it's way better than that, even up to Combiner Wars. So yeah, the Hook and a Long Haul set so far have really saved everything. So yeah, I mean, they do look good together. If I had my choice again, now that I have a more definitive G1 that I want, I'm definitely going to go with that guy versus that guy. But I do like this guy because the wheels do move, and that's one of the things I thought was pretty cool. Having moving wheels, the wheels are pretty dense. They're not rubber, but they are pretty dense plastic, and they do have a really decent silent roll as compared to these. It sounds like a little cheap plastic car. It is what it is, Hasbro. Let's not get upset, but this one is just easier to work with, and it has a nice density weight because it's Commander class. All right, y'all, we are done here. Now we're going to go ahead and get everybody in their robot modes, and let's get everybody put back here so we can see the differences between here, these two. So, of course, we got the SS86 on the right, and we got the Make Toys on the left. And let's just get like a little group shot of them there. And it looks like we have done that. And now we're going to pause for the cause and get them into robot mode. And as always, we'll be back in 2 and 2. Well, we just had to show this off real quick. So far, we have all 4 of the Constructicons that I have, the SS86 versions in their vehicle modes. And man, it sure is looking like the 86 movie right here. And of course, we're going to continue on, and we'll be back in 2 and 2. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic, and we have Hook and Long Haul in their robot modes. So let's go over each individual robot right now. And what we're first going to do is get the height of each robot. Now, I told you they are slightly bigger than their counterparts so far due to the body size, of course. And let's go ahead and get a measurement on Hook. Now let's get him right there. And Hook is about close to 6 inches tall, right under the radar of 6 inches. And this guy is right here under, well, he's a little above 6 inches. He's probably the biggest of the bunch. But that was very similar to that of what they did with the original Combiner Wars version, but he's not all super fat and crazy looking. Hook still looks the same to me. So let's go over articulation for each of them right now. And first we'll start with Hook. Now Hook's arms, we're going to hold out there for a second. His legs can go out to here. Of course, legs can go down to here. He does have a feet swivel. Leg can go about back to here. No waist swivel. Does have the elbow, has a rotating in arm bicep system there, but you can still see that. Kind of reminds me of Combiner Wars a little bit, but he is a lot more denser. No hardly any hollow bits on him. The head sculpt is pretty much hooky looking. We'll get over that in a minute. Now with the shoulders, they have these flaps, and you can kind of angle them up as you need to if you want to get more height. And can he do the Jean-Claude Van Damme? And he answered the question is yes. And he's going to have the hook thing there, but of course you can take the hook off. And now he can Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yes, he can. He can. So yeah, I mean, I didn't like the flaps at first, but he just looks like Hook. And let's take a look at the head sculpt there. You can see the head sculpt there on Hook. You can see it there. And of course, if you want to use this as an extra weapon, sort of, you can, but it doesn't really fit. So you can kind of peg it on the side of his hand, and he could do something like that, but it does make him lean. So to be honest with you, I just kind of keep everything in the back. And I just imagine these little flaps like communication arrays or something, like they got to communicate with Megatron or something. But I mean, it's all good. I mean, he does it. I mean, it's solid, man. This is what Commander class. I'm glad these are Commander class. And as you can see from the back, I mean, yeah, it's pretty. It's G1ified, but it's better. It's better. Now on to long haul, and long haul, like I said before, is the biggest of the bunch at about 6.5 inches, and he has very short arms, but they can rotate like that, and the legs they can rotate, and he has like another rotation right there, so you can kind of get a, you know, arm stepping like that, and then of course he can do that, and then the back of the leg there, he can do that as well. Again, no waist swivel on homie. These flaps will keep him from falling back because he does have the wheels. I wish the wheels could have folded in a little bit. That would have probably even given him more stability. But let's lock the legs back in place. The head does look up and down. And let's look at that. He does have the silver head. Though I wish they did give him the black head, but that's very toy accurate. I'm going to have to look at the cartoon. I don't remember if his head was silver or black or not. But he still has that, you know, the front of a dump truck is my chest look. And he's got this nice little long haul gun right there. All right, y'all. So let's do some comparisons here real quick. And let's bring out some other people like the Make Toys. I'm not going to do a whole lot of super comparisons today, man, because this video is going to be long. Because, you know, we got 4 of the bad boys. You know what I'm saying? So here is the knot hook, which we'll put them together first. Let's move him out the way. Now, the gun is still attached because the gun, his gun forms the big gun. So that is the Devastator head right there, by the way. That's why I say this hook has weird proportions. You can see it's not the best looking hook. Neither is the long haul. I can just go tell you that now, but he's tall. He's very tall. Now, the thing to remember with him is that the crane, I forgot where you put it, but it doesn't really stay, so you can kind of leave it off. But honestly, yeah, I never really liked his robot mode at all. Like, at all. I think I always thought the hook in long haul suffered the most because, you know, they just suffered. Like, and his head was like, the face was black, and this was like a turquoise, same color as this. It was really weird looking, so I just kind of gave him, you know, a black head sculpt, painted the head black with a Sharpie and paint the face silver, and I was able to get the eyes red. So, you know, I'll probably go back and try to paint it again one day, but I doubt it because this is going to go away once I complete, you know, the Devastator. So let that sink in. We'll get a good look at these two real quick. If I had to go with my choice, I'm definitely going to go with Hook. This hook right off the bat. Yes, let's move him out the way. Now, he can hold his weapon. It's just cumbersome. I never really liked it. So just let that sink in, okay? So go ahead and move him out the way real quick. And then we'll compare him with the other two, and then we'll get a group shot. And we'll bring out the other Constructicons, and then we'll go to the next phase of getting everybody into the combined up mode. Here we go with the long hauls. Now, not long haul is an interesting bot to me. He was one of my favorites. I know, you know, like if he turned, I love the way he looked. Like this is, you know, G1, this is, you know, just wild. It's busy, you know what I'm saying? But as you can see here, I definitely will say the one thing I've always liked about him was the head sculpt. I thought the head sculpt was pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, I love the look, but not as long haul. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks like a robot, you know, like it's a cool looking robot in my opinion, but it's just not long haul in my opinion. I think he has waist swivel. Yeah, he does have waist swivel. He does have waist swivel, and that is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And so after showing off the articulation with him, there's one thing that we forgot to do. What was that? Can he Jean-Claude Van Damme? Boy, don't boy. At least he can Jean-Claude Van Damme. Give him props for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no waist swivel. Kind of hurts. Still hurts. They can have it. I just think that extra tooling would have cost some, Hasbro just was not going to do it. And, but it is what it is. Not going to argue with it because people get upset. I personally like the look of him for various reasons, but honestly, if I had my choice, I'm definitely going with him. Now let's just get the rest of them in a line here, and then we're going to go ahead and get busy getting these into their combined mode so we can go ahead and wrap up the video. But let's go ahead and get Scrapper, the leader. Scrapper's the leader, because he's the one that tells the boy when to transform and stuff like that. Then we got the boy, Mr. Squat. Oh boy, Mr. Squat. But hey, we got what we got. Last we can bring them all in, we got Hook. And I like Hook, man. I don't care, man. I like Hook. I love the look. He looks... It's bad news, Scrapper. They've brought out the heavy artillery. Well, it's time we did the same, only heavier. I just love when he says that. Constructicons, transform, phase 1. Constructicons, transform, phase 2. Prepare to meet your doom. Nothing can withstand the might of the Devastator. Y'all know how it goes. Y'all know how it goes. But now when you see them in a line, it changes, man. It changes things, man. It really does. Like I said, it gives you the feels, man. You know, if you're a grown up at 84, this was hard to do unless you got the gift set. But it does look good. I mean, this is what we want to see. All right, y'all, this video gonna be long, and then we got to get these boys in combined modes and show those off. Then we'll get to final thoughts, and we'll always be back in 2 and 2. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic, and we now have the combined up parts here to make pretty much the body of Devastator. Once you get the body in your hand, it's kind of like, oh man, I see what we're doing here. I see what we're doing here. And I get the feels, man. Like having this much of Devastator, along with, I got Scrapper and I got Bone Crusher. Still, just having this much of Devastator is like crazy, man. Look at the articulation. Everything is tight. I mean tight. I mean, you can tell that this is gonna hold up, for many years. And he has waist swivel, not all the way around due to the parts, but you can get it. But once you connect everything, this backpack is nice. This is this folds up well, much better than Combiner Wars right off the bat. But I mean, it's smooth. You know that when you set it down, it sets down. Yeah, I know it sticks out a little bit. And I know some people are going to say, well, this is a backpack. But look, man. All right. It is what it is. If you like better, then just go get better. Okay. All right, y'all. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. And this here is the Make Toys broken down abdomen and waist part that is basically just a combined version of Hook and Long Haul. Now here you have the combined parts from the extra parts from Long Haul. There's Long Haul here, and of course there's Hook, just like in the cartoon. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, okay, let me just say that if you want something so far that is easier to work with and manage when you're taking apart and putting it back together, you're going to want to just get this guy. And I mean, I know you want to go third party. I know some of you want to, third party's the best. And you don't understand Super Robot. And some guy just got deleted for coming at me like that, man. I just stop that. All right, I'm not going to argue with you, man. You go argue with yourself. But this guy, he doesn't have the help me parts. He combines with just the two robots. And I mean, they did a pretty good job in trying to make it work, but it's always fixing this back part where you got to deal with the back. Even though it's a lot smoother, it's some issues that you got to deal with. And sometimes it could just be annoying. Sometimes parts don't fit together. Sometimes you're doing it 4 and 5 times. it was a good toy for its time because we did not have any type of combining Devastator. It is in itself a masterpiece. It has a lot of tight gears for the time, but it's Make Toys complication that gets on my nerves. Wait till you get your hand. If you ever get Quandron, you'll know what I mean. Nice looking toy, but severely frustrating. And this will frustrate you putting this together. This, once you figure it out, will not, and it's actually heavier than this. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic real quick. And this is what I want to say. This is like just a little bonus. If you want to know how I have been standing up right now, because I'm doing a little test here, you can see basically it's being held down by a bottle. So that way there's no, how is he doing that? But I got to say, this is probably the best Devastator we've gotten from Hasbro. Hands down, the best. All right, y'all, this is the last part of the video. Whew, we finally made it to the end. So how do I feel about Studio Series 86 Commander Class Hook and Long Haul? These are much better. Getting to see the full version of the well, not the full version, but seeing the robot come together with these two and the extra parts give us a lot of hope. I'm a big, fan of my Make Toys Devastator. It's a good set, but I gotta be honest with you and tell you this. I would advise strongly against buying it in replacement of this unless you want to deal with some things. And when I say some things, it's not perfect. It's really kind of a statue. Yes, it can move, but it doesn't have the flexibility that we're going to get with the new one. And I think that's what kind of brought me back. Like, there is still issues. There's still the limits and waist swivel and other things that I think, should have been addressed. I think we could have gotten more, but it is what it is. Okay. I'm done with that. Besides that, the individual robots, yeah, they're like I said, it's a little bit of a, you got to get used to it. But if I had my choice for playability, just ease and just picking it up and, not having to think of, like a quadrahedron equation to try to get everything to fit together, you could kind of just fit it together and nothing's, it moves. Like I said, Make Toys don't move like that. So that's just me. And even the individual robots for Hook and Long Haul, being that they are, the bulk of the body, they kind of the worst of the bunch. But again, that's just me. I know some of y'all gonna get mad and get in your feelings, but it is what it is. I own it. I can talk about it. So these two are better. I think so far I'm very happy with these two. And they do help to complement the other two Constructicons so that we are able to get this, set going. So I'm glad to have 4 of 6. At least I'm in the running, and I've only got to get 2 more to go. So this is my review of the Studio Series 86 Hook and Long Haul. Studio Series. Oh man, I tell you, I did a good job this time. So hey, the Super Robot Head Premium News reveals to them. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.